Today, we're going to be diving into the super interesting world of Moneyball, and I'll be showing you how you can implement it in your FIFA Career Mode saves. Now, it might sound complicated, but I promise it's actually really easy to set up, and it will make your career mode a lot more fun. So let's get right into it. First things first, what on earth is Moneyball? Well, it's a concept that actually originated in baseball, but it quickly spread to Europe and it has found its way into the beautiful game. So how did it become so popular, you might be wondering? Well, it's all thanks to the incredible success of the Oakland Athletics, a baseball team that defied the odds by leveraging data and analytics to make smart player decisions on a tight budget. How on earth can a baseball philosophy apply to FIFA Career Mode? Well, I'm glad you asked, because just like Moneyball in real life, Moneyball in FIFA revolves around analysing player stats, and I mean really getting into the nitty-gritty of these numbers. We're talking about looking in depth at short passing, interceptions and dribbling, and so much more. It's all about finding hidden gems, those players who might not be so popular, but have the ability to play like superstars in the game. We're going to be mainly looking at attributes, but you should also be looking at work rates, body types, and age, because all of these also contribute to the Moneyball algorithm. As dynamic potential is a thing that now works in the game, there's actually the opportunity to find players who can become world class, even if their potential rating isn't great. You can scout and find players who, based on their intangibles or other attributes, will be a suitable match for your squad, but might be a totally unknown player. Basically, we'll be ignoring players' overall and potential ratings while trying to find players who maximise in-match performance at a certain role. If you didn't already know, FIFA's overall ratings are actually calculated by giving every single attribute a player has a certain weight. Relevant attributes for the player's position contribute more to the player's overall when they're higher. For example, balance and agility hardly count towards player overalls in any position, but they're probably two of the best attributes actually in the game. Another example, a 70 overall striker with 1 finishing would increase to 88 overall if their finishing went from 1 to 99 and everything else stayed the same. So let's say you're looking for a new attacking midfielder, but you have a budget of around £5 million. You want a player with high acceleration, agility and balance because they would perform really well in game. If we search for a player with these stats, Simone Verdi matches all three, but he also has a high rating for his free kick accuracy and a 5-star weak foot. This is exactly what Moneyball is about. Only 2 other players are better than Verdi in all 4 of these areas, and they're Lionel Messi and Paulo Dybala, and both would cost at least 10 times more money. The whole point of Moneyball in baseball was to find players who give more home runs to the team, while in football it's about stopping goals and scoring goals. Simone Verdi would definitely contribute to more goals than someone rated higher than him, such as Hans Vanaken, because their rating is mainly coming from less important in-game skills, like long shots, finishing and reactions, which all weight heavily towards an attacking midfielder's rating. So by now you should have a pretty good understanding about how Moneyball works. Let's have a look at some of the clubs that have already embraced this Moneyball approach in real life. You'll probably be amazed to find that Porto and Brentford have been using this for nearly a decade, and they've discovered a ton of top-tier talent without breaking the bank. It really can be a game changer for clubs with lower financial resources, allowing them to punch way above their weight and compete with some of the giants of the footballing world. This is the kind of team that definitely works best when it comes to Moneyball. You'll want a team that starts off fairly bad, but you want them to have 1 or 2 good players and a decent amount of money to spend on rebuilding. Smaller teams in the Premier League, Bundesliga and La Liga all make the best saves in my opinion. Don't get me wrong though, you can definitely do a really slow Moneyball road to glory, but it'll probably take about 15 seasons for you to get from League 2 to the Premier League if you do it realistically. I think it would be super interesting to try a Moneyball save with a team like Stuttgart or Werder Bremen. Stuttgart have made attempts to use analytics in the past, but they need a rebuild because this failed. Bremen are a more traditional team, but again, they need a rebuild themselves. So if you want a really hard challenge, why not see how lowly rated you can create a title-winning team? I think with the right players, you could probably win the Bundesliga with a 74 rated team, but I'm sure you can go even lower because you're better at FIFA than I am. Alright, you might be wondering how on earth you can realistically implement Moneyball in FIFA, right? Well, let's get into the main part of the video. When it comes to transfers, focus on specific stats like we talked about earlier, and don't get swayed by player overall. There's a few steps to deciding which stats actually matter to your team. The first is your tactics. If you're pressing all game, of course you'll want aggression and stamina to be high in basically every position. This will help your tactic to score more goals and, of course, concede less goals as well. Long ball tactics will need rigidity at the back and physicality up front, so look at strength, jumping and heading for your strikers. Your defenders will need to be good at long passing, while you might want really fast wingers with good crossing stats as well. I'd recommend you write down 3 attributes you want each position to be good at. When you finish with this, add another 2 attributes to every single position that every single player needs to have. This is now your Moneyball style. If you don't want to check each player for every single stat, the scouting network can actually be used pretty well. The filters you see inside the scouting network are actually related to groups of stats. So for example, aerial threat is all about jumping and heading, while pacey is all about acceleration and sprint speed. It's probably the most realistic way to do it, but it can be easier to find players just by searching on FIFA if you're in the first couple of seasons. Alright, so let's answer one last question. Why should you use Moneyball in your FIFA saves? Simple, it's all about creating a new experience inside FIFA. With Moneyball, you can now build a squad that's unique to your save, while perfectly tailored to your play style, and it's immensely satisfying to see your hard work pay off when some of these hidden gems start to be dominating the league. There's only so many times you can go out and sign Alexis Vega. Maybe this time, Andy Carroll is the right man to be leading you to glory. Hopefully I've introduced Moneyball in a fairly easy to understand way, but if you've got any questions at all, head over to our Discord and tag me in your questions. Check out the 2 playlists on screen right now as well. I used Moneyball in my Notts County Road to Glory, and I did a ton of scouting in my Pentagon Challenge, so make sure you check one of them out right now. Thanks for watching, I'll see you soon, cheers and goodbye.